Are you looking for a really awesome and amazing graphic designer? How about an illustrator or a photographer? This is Raini Roberts, and I wanted to tell you how you can get my designer, illustrator husband, Scotty Roberts, to work for you on your project. Do you have an awesome self-published book but no cover, or even worse, a cover that really sucks? Do you need a kick-ass logo for your company or some f***ing awesome graphic designs for your ads or website? Then get in touch with my husband for the best f***ing awesome kick-ass design and illustration. He knows his stuff, and he's been at this for more years than I've been alive. Go to ScottAllenRoberts.com. That's Scott with 2 T's, ALANROBERTS.com to take a look at his online portfolio of work, or call 651-468-8115. Now go out and kick some ass with some kick-ass graphic design.
Hire my dad so he can take me to Disneyland.
I bet you were wondering where he at. All those long intros. Good morning. Happy Sunday morning, everyone. Welcome to the program. I was just getting coffee, and I was making sure I was on time, and I was already a minute and a half late. So how you all doing this morning? Good to see you here. Good to see everyone here. I don't have all my junk quite set up yet, but let's see if we can make it happen. Good morning to Russ, and good morning to Sandra, and good morning to Roger Rabbit. And everybody that's out there, I'm just trying to get that working. That's not working right. That'll have to do. Oh, my blue light is unplugged. I didn't even notice that. Hold on. For effect, I better turn it back on, huh? It's unplugged because I was down here yesterday trying to make everything orderly and moved everything around. And unplug this in the process. There we go. Now we got blue light. Shebang, bada boom, and all of that. So it's just theatrics. That's all. Staging, stagecraft, theatrics. So how's everybody doing this morning? Subspace Radio, that's Russ. He's here. At our age, our junk is never in place for long, says Russ. And you know what, Russ? I have to agree with you on that. It's always out of place. So Teresa, I haven't seen Teresa in a long time in the show. Good to see you. Happy Father's Day, she says. Well, happy Father's Day to all you dads out there, might I add. And I tried to get a hold of my dad. I've tried to call my dad 3 times in the last 2 days, and he hasn't picked up. So I'm going to have to try to get a hold of him again. I left him a message this morning for Father's Day. Carlene Smith, so good to see you. So sick of packing. I know. I hate moving. Moving sucks. Just thought I'd give you that nice little boost me up there, Carlene. And who else is in here this morning? Let's see. I think I've mentioned everybody who's shown. Morgan Snow is here this morning. Good to see you, Morgan. And everybody who wants to is in the chat room. I'm going to send a link to my wife only because I don't think she wanted to come down. She's just in her PJs, sitting up there, hair all over the place, having coffee, watching TV. And I told her I would send her the link to the show. So if at least she wanted to pop in and say hi, she could do that. Let's see. I'm trying to find her. Well, I don't message her much on Facebook, but that's what popped up here. Since I'm not on my phone, so let's just do a new message to Raini and Raini Roberts. Here's the show link. Boom, boom, boom. There. We'll see if she shows up today. That's the StreamYard link. And folks, if you don't see it, it's in there. It's down in the description. The link for today's show. Oh, where did my page go? There it is. Boom. Now I'm back. I couldn't see what was going on. Hey, Kelly. Good to see you. Happy Father's Day to you, too. Even though you're just a mom, not a dad. You should call in, Kelly, and say hi. So here, let me paste that in the chat room for everybody who doesn't want to have to go dig and scramble for the link in the description below the window. There is the chat room if you want to call into the show today. So here it is. It's Sunday. As you all know, we're doing our show 3 times a week over on Patreon. And many of you who are not on Patreon, we've got Sunday morning where you can come and check us out live without spending that cup of coffee for 30 days of free shows on free shows, $4. So you get us on Sunday. And so I'm glad that you're still here. You're glad you still enjoy the show. And we'll try to keep you up to date on what's going on. And so what is going on with everybody out there? I usually have Uncle Dave in here by now, and we're already bouncing things off. I know he hasn't been feeling well lately. Everybody around me hasn't been feeling well. I don't know what that is. Is that a Mercury in retrograde thing? I have no idea because I don't talk astrological and astrological. So he says, not to mention naked photos of Scotty only on Patreon. Thanks, Russ. There's your promo. I think we'd draw more people if I said naked pictures of Raini on my Patreon. That would draw a crowd. Mine would be like, I think just the curious would look. So they had something to laugh at. Yeesh. Changing weather too, yeah. So we've got Raini's under the weather lately, a lot lately, just not feeling tip-top. And I feel bad for her because she gets up every morning and it's like, hi, how you doing? She's a horrible night of sleep. Don't feel good. Headaches, other stuff, all her other bodily stuff going on. And this morning I was standing having coffee or making my coffee. And she shambled into the kitchen in her PJs and walked right over to me and gave me a hug and a kiss. And I said, how you doing? She said, okay. So she's up on the sofa. We may get her. Then we got Uncle Dave has been, I don't want to say he's sick. He just hasn't felt himself. He's worn out. He had some sickness going on. So he was out for a while. And Wendy has been out for the better part of a month with her stuff. I don't want to talk about what her stuff is because that's her business to share if she wants to. But she's been down, and we haven't done Robertson now. It'll be a month this Tuesday, so we'll see what happens. See if she's back in the saddle. Daniel Londra, good to see you. Hope you have a good day too. Are you a dad, Daniel? Not quite sure. And Susie Q is here. Good to see you, Susie Q. Nice to have you in the show. And or at least in the chat room. So Roger says same thing here with Carly. Yeah, every morning it's tough for her. Just never can get to 100%. That's the thing. You guys are still kids. You and Carly. That's I thought this is just the middle age to I'm not elderly yet. I'm not old aged yet. Is 62 still middle aged? Who did I see referring to 62 as middle aged yesterday? When you're middle aged like us. Oh, it was Ronald Reagan when he was president. He said something about he was 70 something, and he was saying, when you're middle aged like us. So Morgan Snow said she had a severe RA flare up this last week, just starting to get over it. Yeah, I found out I have a little arthritis in my feet and my hands. My hands are always stiff. And of course, I cracked that bone in the bottom of my foot this last week and went to have it x-rayed. And the podiatrist said, yeah, well, according to the x-rays, you got a little arthritis going on in your feet, too. I'm like, oh, that's why it hurts to walk. So, and I'm only 62. What if I make it to 82? 20 more years, what are my feet and my hands going to be like? What if I make it to my predicted 94? Or I'm sorry, 104? What's life going to be like? Hopefully, still have fully intact mind so I can make jokes about all of my illnesses and all of my flare-ups and all of my bodily misfunctions. So, that's one thing. I'll talk about some of my physical ailments and stuff that's going on, but I try to always at least make it lighthearted. Kenny LaFarve, good morning, brother. Good to see you here. Glad you made it in. And Cordia is here as well. Good to see you. She says, I love you all. I'm gardening and listening. Gardening. When you're young, you don't think of gardening as being such an amazing thing. Oh, it's gardening. That's for old people. No, it's for everybody. I was gardening when I was younger. It's great. I love planning the garden out and digging it up and tilling it and planting and watching it grow. And sometimes I'm impatient, so I buy big plants and put them in alongside my rows of small plants. So Roger says, I'll be visiting the doctor for the first time in 17 years within the next month. Hopefully. I'm not looking forward to what they will tell me. Hopefully I'm as healthy as a triathlete. Well, you get your Wheaties box cover and bring it with you. Daniel says, I'm 32. I have 2 ruptured discs in my lower back. It's getting worse. It's gotten to a point now where I get up in the morning, my whole left leg is numb all the way down to my toes. So you got sciatica that comes along with that. I've had some of those mornings. It wasn't a ruptured disc, but what do they call it? One of my discs, lower one slips in. If you got 2 of the discs, the lower one would slip in and the top one would do that, and it would pinch and send that lovely sciatica down my leg, in my buttocks, all the way down to my toes. And Kelly Strickland asks, are the girls still in town? My daughters, yes. We haven't even seen them yet. They flew in yesterday. They had to go to their mom's, I think, in their grandma's birthday party. She's like 94 or 95. I don't care, is what that comes down to. But yeah, they're, I think they're over there for the weekend. They're coming over here tomorrow morning, and they're spending a day or 2 here at our place and doing some stuff with the kids, Kelly. So, Kelly, that's not your picture. Who is that? I don't even know who that is. Kelly is a hot blonde, by the way. I've known her for about 35 years. Something like that. Oh, that's your dad. Okay, well, that makes sense. Duh. Father's Day. If I'd have just thought before I spoke. Yeah, I've known Kelly for a long time. She used to frequent my mom's karaoke shows. She was a regular there and helped my mom, worked with my mom, all of that stuff. And that's where I first met her, probably 30, in the early 90s, I got to think it was. So at least 30 years. And so I've known Kelly for a long time. Hot, leggy blonde with a nice butt. There, I said it in public. So, let's see what else we got going over here. Morganson was so upset. I just got a new bike and I couldn't ride it. Yeah, my mom, Kelly just said my mom is one of her best friends. And of course, my mom's now down in Arizona. Kelly's still here in the Twin Cities area. And so you're making me blush. Don't get me started. So yeah, so she goes down and sees my mom a bit off and on in Arizona. I don't remember the last time you were down. So my mom's living down there in Yuma and doing all of her karaoke business down there that she started way back in the late 80s, I believe it was. She started doing that and doing all the little pubs, did restaurants, did taverns, all those places, bars, seedy bars. There's a difference between a pub, a tavern, and a bar. So, but she did all those places and she built up quite a business. And that's all she has done for business for years, 3 decades. And she's good at it. I remember when she was advertising, she had the best equipment and the best library of songs in the Twin Cities area, which maybe to those of you who don't live in the Twin Cities, you're like, so? There's millions of people here. And so she had a great business, and then she pulled up stakes and moved to Yuma, Arizona back in 2006, I want to say. 2006. And she left everything. She had us take over the house. She had us all of her stuff. She says, keep it, sell it, burn it, do whatever you want. She loaded up a minivan with her clothes and all her karaoke equipment and moved down to Yuma. So there you go. Let's see. Daniel says, profile pic is of my dad too. That one right there, that's your dad? Lost my dad in 2021. He was only 53. Today is kind of rough for me, honestly, because me and my dad were very close. Man, I get that, Daniel. My dad is still alive. Haven't talked to him. He's 80. He's 21 years older than me. So he's 83, my dad. He lives outside of Cincinnati, way out in the country. He's just a few minutes, 25 minutes from the Serpent Mounds in Ohio. So, yeah, I know there's a lot of people I know, especially my age, that have lost their parents already. Both of mine are still alive. Thank goodness. My mom is 80. She'll be 81. And just to be Kelly, can you believe it? It's already been a year since she's been up here. My mom was up here for a big 80th birthday party that they threw for my mom. All her karaoke people. Kelly was there, many others. Excuse me. And that was last July. My mom turns 81 and on July 11th. You never know it by looking at her. She's she makes 80 is the new 60. So and I know I've said this before, but my mom once told me several years ago, she goes, "What's all this white in your beard and your mustache?" She says, "You need to shave that off. You're making me look old." That was my mom. So Teresa's parents passed away years ago. Matthew Sainsbury, Cincinnati, Ohio now. What's in Cincinnati, Matthew? Or are you just responding to me? Hey, there's Michael. Michael, off-roading. Good morning, Scotty. Michael, you should get your butt in here. Are you awake enough? Here's the link if you want to talk. I can talk forever. As you all know me, I can go a mile a minute and I can keep talking. That's where my daughter Rowan gets it from. But sometimes it's just fun to have somebody to bounce stuff off of. You have good conversation online. So there's the link in the chat room if anybody wants to call in and be part of the live broadcast. Roger says, I want to visit the Serpent Mounds on one of your Cincy trips. We are there 10 or so times a year at the Children's Hospital. Oh, so we never made the extra journey over to them. That's in Peebles. It's roughly, like I said, I'd say a half an hour from my dad's house. He's in New Vienna, Ohio, way out in the sticks. You look at his property and And then you turn around, and it's all cornfields and stuff across the road, which I think is about 45 miles kind of east-southeast of Cincinnati. Something like that. It's an hour from Cincinnati. So let's see. My visit last night at a true historical story to my dad. Says Matthew. Yeah, he went and visited his late father's grave last night. So that's good. Wow, song, he says. Yeah, the Serpent Mounds. Once you're there, it's kind of funny. Matt, I'm sorry, Roger. It's kind of funny when you go there. It's like some historic sites. You go and you go, cool, and you're done. I went to the Serpent Mounds, and it was an awesome experience. But I didn't have an experience, so to speak. We just visited. I had Rainey and the kids were there with me, and we just walked up and down the mounds, took some pictures. I did a little live video and put it up. It's over on my YouTube somewhere of the Serpent Mounds that was 4 years ago already. And so it wasn't any big deal. It was big. It's mown. It's manicured. It looks nice. But it was interesting being there. There's Rowan. Hi, Rowan. Come over and show what you did to your hair. There's Rowan. There's my 11-year-old.
You spilled coffee on your floor.
Yeah, I'm sure I did. So let's see your hair. Here, let's turn up the light. I have to keep it low because it burns things out. There you go. There's Rowan. It finally looks nice. It took like 18 tries to try to get your hair this way. What is this, the Kool-Aid color, or is this the Jell-O color?
No,
the box color.
No. This is the bottle color.
The bottle color. Okay.
The box color was the color that came out in the pool. The Jell-O didn't work and the Kool-Aid didn't work.
Okay. So yeah, they tried Kool-Aid. They tried Jell-O. That's supposed to be permanent stuff. And whoa, big hair, says Teresa. Cute, Rowan. Love that color, says Kelly. You don't know Kelly. You met her last year at Grandma's birthday party, Grandma Jane's birthday party. So there's my 11-year-old going on 27.
And I got my Christmas pajamas on.
Your Christmas jammies?
Yeah.
Which ones? Oh, those ones you got yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So, and Ellie did her hair color too. You should tell Ellery when you go back upstairs, tell her to come down.
Ellery!
I could do that.
Ellery! Hold on.
So, good morning, Rowan, says Daniel. Wow, Carly would love that hair. She wants it to be purple pink. No, don't. You don't have to bang on the ceiling. She'll come down. I hear her pump, 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 pump.
Yes.
How's your hair? Come here. Come and show off your hair. Rainey helped her do her hair. It's a reddish color, and she put a big, thick braid in it. Man.
Go to the other side.
Here. Come over here. Right in the middle. So here's Ellie's hair. It's a little tough to see in the darker light, but turn around. Look at that. And it's got this deep, what's the color red?
Ritual red.
Oh, ritual red. Here, turn around, because you can kind of see it here when the light reflects off of it. Look at that. Look at the red tones in that. Rainey used to do that to her hair. And so you can see up in here all the red tones. It's just, when I saw it, the braid was already in it. And I went, whoa, that is really gorgeous. So you can turn around now. So she did a great job.
I also dyed my eyebrows red.
Yeah.
Down.
Oh, you did your eyebrows red? Oh, I see that.
Guess what color my hair is?
What color is your hair?
Virgin pink.
Virgin pink. And it better stay that way for at least 20 more years. So, our Grumpy Stack wants to know if you're doing rituals.
No.
No, Grumpy. Look, did you see how serious that got, Grumpy? No. So, love the color, says everybody. So blasphemy stat. That is a very interesting comment. I'm not sure what that was. Dr. Auburn. It looks like dark auburn. Here, turn around now. Now that you're closer to the light, you can see. Look at that color. I thought it turned out really nice on her. Not too wild and weird, like my older daughter.
Shut up.
It looks good. It's just wild and weird. I mean, this looks more natural. That looks just wild and weird. Come and show your color off again one more time. So there's her color. When are you 12? Oh, not until November. You're 9 in December. We're all a bunch of Sagittarians.
I'm not.
Oh, wait, you're not. That's right. You're 2 days before my birthday. Hi. What you up to? Scintillating live radio from the Roberts house. So.
Are we supposed to clean today, Ellen?
Yeah, we got to clean up today.
No,
It's house cleaning day because Abby and Bryn are coming to stay for a couple of days.
I thought it was supposed to be Saturday today, and I thought it was Friday yesterday.
So now the cleaning day has hit you all too soon.
Yeah.
All right. Well, gosh, I'm sorry.
You also thought that Christmas was on the 30th. Shut up. Leave me alone.
All right.
I figured out.
I'm gonna do a show.
I figured out it was on the 25th this year.
Oh yeah, Christmas is the 25th of December.
See, I thought it was the 30th.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone. Gosh, math is hard.
I know.
All right. See you later, baby. Thanks for showing off your hair. Your hair's all of you. So there you go. I agree, Dave, with morning to you. I'm not sure what that's. Uncle Dave says your hair looks nice. Scotty, how many Patreon subs to get you to dye your hair and facial hair pink? 100. When we would hit 100, I will dye my facial hair and my head pink. Boom. That's a promise. Write it down. When we hit 100 patrons. Kelly said, I look more and more like my mom every day. What, closer to 80? It's a joke. Come on, it's a joke, folks. Oh, gonna get my lights back in order here so I'm not burning out everything. There we go. Yeah, my mom and I always looked an awful lot alike. I got the mom strain. My brother Joe got the dad strain, but Joe and I look like each other. Go figure. But we favor other parents. Daniel says, I tried green hair once. It ended badly. I'll bet. I know what you meant, Kelly. I was just teasing. I tried to call mom a couple times too. I haven't been able to get a hold of my parents for days. I tried to call mom a couple of times. She's busy though. If I don't catch her at 6 a.m, which is 2 hours behind us here, I got to call her at 8 a.m. If I call after 8, she's already gone doing stuff. She's out and running all the time. Yeah, she never answered for me or called me back when I called her last either. I don't think there's anything to worry about at this point because she's not like infirmed and like I said, my mom at 80, almost 81, makes it look like she's 60. She's a little slower than she used to be, but she ain't infirmed. She ain't in a nursing home. She's always up running somewhere and driving and running and doing her shows and boom, boom, boom. So my dad, he's 83 and he's always up and out too. Now, they're not married. They haven't even seen each other. My mom and dad haven't seen each other's face for about 60 years. If you can believe that. They were separated and divorced when I was about a year old. And I'm 62. So I think it's been 60 years since they've even seen each other. They haven't talked at all in all of that time. It was just boom, done, over. My dad was remarried, I think, a few years later. And he was married to Barb, the woman he was married to for, oh my God, 55, 56 years. And she just passed away 2 years ago or last year. I think it was almost 2 years ago now. But she passed away, cancer stuff. And she was about the same age as my dad, but late 70s. So he never had any other kids, just my older brother and me. And then remarried. They never had kids. He was married to her for 56 years. Could you imagine what a hole that puts in your life? It's crazy. Carlene had blue hair for a while. Let's see. I had blonde hair in the 80s, said Sandra. Didn't look right. I had hair once, said Randall. Randall, join the club. I got a little tiny bit left up there. That's it. And I'm almost afraid to cut it. One of these days it's not going to grow back. Daniel says he was one of the youngest of 3 brothers. My folks waited until I was 18, off to college before they all split up. Yeah, waiting till the last one left the nest. Ugh. I would hate that. How dumb. That's dumb. If you're going to, for a certain degree, it's not. I get that. Kids, divorce is a lasting effect on kids. It affects them forever. And some of them will never know how it affected them. I've often said, I wonder what kind of person I would be had my parents stayed together. Would I be any different? My personality would be the same, but what are the factors that would have affected the way I view the world, or the way I clean things, or the way I draw, or the way I write? What would be affected? Because all of those things are factors in our lives that make us who we are, the ups and the downs. But parents staying together till their kids are out of college, and then they're like, sayonara, and they vamoose. There's a mixing of cultures right there. And I've seen that happen with people where all of a sudden, the man is always shocked, unless it's the guy doing it. The guy's always like, I don't know what happened. And my girl graduated from high school. The next week, my wife filed divorce papers and left. It's like, what? Sometimes it's necessary. We say we stay together for the kids, and I get that. I think that's an important thing. You work out your shit. You work out your shit for the sake of your kids. But I would hate it if all my kids graduated from high school and suddenly my wife wanted to go. It's like, what? I'm going to be 72 when my youngest graduates from high school. Ellery. I'll be 72 years old. That's 10 years from now. Rainey she'll only be 53 when that happens. And so it's like, that's still pretty young. Maybe she'll look for the young buck at 53. Hopefully she loves me too damn much. Wants to keep me around. Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? When I grow old, losing my hair many years from now. Will you still be sending me Valentine's, Christmas greetings, bottle of wine? And I don't remember how the words go. Will you lock the door? Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? Let's move that up to like 74. Hey, Eric Layton Crandall. Eric Layton Crandall is a good friend of mine. I would call him my attorney, but he's never represented me for anything yet. He just gives me advice. I owe him a few pints. Eric, we have got to make that happen this week. This week, find a time that's good for you, and let's go get a pint or two. Don't go for the one, for the one, for the one. Don't go for the one, for the one, for the one. That's that song from Gaelic Storm. My friend Harvey married Tracy McCall. Says she is a scary old doll, a voice out of hell, and a temper to boot. Arms like a navvy and a face like dried fruit. Well, I was back home last year. I bumped into Harvey back home last year. Says I to him, want to go out for a beer? No, my sister's French cousin is over for tea. I've been sent to the snail shop to impress him for tea, something like that. And he says, so it's up to the snail shop I went to go. So I'm a little bit late because business was slow. Snails, you know. If I'm not home by 6, I'll surely be done. The missus will kill me. Let's just go for the one. Then the chorus, the one, don't go for the one, don't go for the one, for the one, for the one, the one, don't go for the one, don't go for the one, for the one, for the one. For the one went down fast, the second did too. 3 or 4 more was 'twas a fine how do you do. Harvey looked at his watch and shrieked out with fright. It was 20 past 8. We'd been drinking all night. 20 past 10. We'd been drinking all night. So that's the song. That's what came to mind when I asked Eric Crandall, we got to go out for a pint. We got to do this thing. We got to make it happen. Good to see you in here, Eric. Glad you stopped by. It's now, as you all know, it's probably a good place to put in this disclaimer, is that Sunday mornings is a casual show. We just get together to talk bullshit and otherwise hobnob with brother wizards and sister witches, whatever you want to call yourself. It's not the Intrepid radio program, which is serious shit. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And other days of the week, too, when we do our special stuff. And might I add, if you're not part of the Patreon family over there, come on over, join my Patreon, and see what you're missing. And come on in. It's only the amount of a cup of coffee per month. And you get a whole month of great stuff. Mike Yehudi is in the room. Good to see you, Mike. How's it going, man? Been a long time since I've seen you in here. So good to have you. Chief Remeldian Olympus is here. Good to see you as well. Daniel Craig is here. What'd you say? I'm reminded of the joke where a married couple, both over 100, filed for divorce. When their lawyer asked why, they replied, we wanted to wait till the children were dead. Nice. Yeah. That's kind of funny because when you think about it, it's like I said earlier, my mom said I need to shave off my white hair because I make her look old. So what's up, brother? Says Mike Yehudi. I always liked Mike Yehudi's name. It was we started that years ago. Yehudi. So I'm glad you're in the room. I hope you're doing well today, Mike. And been through all kinds of crap. So it's good to see you here. Hope you're in cheery spirits today. I toast you with my dark coffee, which is cooling by the moment. Let's see. I was thinking of talking about something serious today. Or not serious, just bringing up a good topic, but why? I'll save that for the show during the week. And it was very interesting because, I'm working on this. Those of you who follow my Instagram or my Facebook, I put up some of the art for some of the cards I'm redoing. 30 years ago, we did a set of trading cards called Ancient Heroes. And the card deck, it started with a buddy of mine from college and his wife, Terry. And they said, we want to put together, and this was in the, 1993. And they said, we want to put together a deck of trading cards because trading cards were all the rage back then. And they still are, but comic book, it went from baseball and football cards to all the comic book characters. Marvel and DC had all their cards out. Everybody was doing trading cards. And so we wanted to do one on biblical characters that did not. And my advice to the whole thing was, I said, here's my take. You don't want to scream Bible, because everybody will think, oh, Sunday school, bathrobes, bed sheets, and beards. Oh, and sandals. That makes up these characters. I said, why not look at them as cool historical characters? And let's do some art that kind of reflects that, that's as cool as what's out there. And at the time, I was very much emulating the style of somebody like a Mike Mignola, who created Hellboy, if you ever saw those original comics. And so my style had a lot of the same edge that his did. And so we did up these cards. My buddy Steve wrote the backsides of the cards on all the characters. And we did 52 cards. And we chose several characters from the Bible, like Moses, Abraham, Gideon. See, now that even gets into some obscure characters. People are like, Gideon. We know Jesus and Moses and Abraham and Noah. We didn't do a Noah card, but we did several cards for each one of these characters. We chose like 6 characters. And I was reading just last night, and this made me want to talk about this, and I might talk about this in tomorrow's show. But there was a woman in the Bible, in the book of Judges, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, the first 5 books of Moses. Then you had the book of Joshua, which was written, of course, by and about Joshua, who took over after Moses. And then the book of Judges, as Israel started to settle in the land of Canaan and conquer all the towns and villages and really take over Canaan. They didn't have a king at the time, and they didn't have a specific set singular leader or ruler, but they had a series of judges, they called them, the people who rose to power. One of the most famous ones most of us know, Samson. Samson was a judge. I think it was Eric Leighton Crandall, my attorney, who said something about, I want to see a Samson card. We didn't do Samson, sad to say. We might in the upcoming months, though. My partner is wanting to relaunch this deck, by the way. That's where I started talking. And so I'm brushing up all the artwork for an inevitable relaunch somewhere down the road. But when you're looking at the judges, this is pre-king. Saul was the first king, and then King David replaced Saul. But in between the time of Moses, Joshua, and then King Saul, which was 500 years later, you had this series of judges in the land. And Deborah, as you might pronounce it, was one of the judges. She's the only female judge mentioned in the scripture. And she was a judge in the land. And no, not Judah Maccabee. That's way further up. That's in the 300s. We're talking anywhere from 1400 to roughly 900 BCE. So in that span of time, you had the judges. And I was a toddler then too. Back in the time of the judges. Uncle Dave's out, it looks like. He says, be well, everyone, and remember to do something good for someone. So in the judges, when I started looking up, I'm looking at the old text that we had done for the card of Deborah. And Deborah and Barak was the basically the general of the armies of Israel, that she pushed him into invading these oppressors they had, and the Midianites. And so there's a chapter 4 of the book of Judges in the Old Testament, centers on Deborah and Barak. And so she was a prophetess, the Bible says, and she prophesied to Barak about attacking and these people who were oppressing him, the Midianites. And there's an interesting little phrase when you start reading about her. It goes like this. I'm going to do a show on this next week, but among the Israelites, again, the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord. Now that Ehud was dead, so the Lord, there was one of the judges, and so the Lord sold them into the hands of Jabin, king of Canaan, who reigned in Hazor. And Sisera, the commander of his army, was based in Harosheth Hagoyim, because he had 900 chariots fitted with iron and had cruelly oppressed the Israelites. For 20 years they cried to the Lord for help. Now Deborah, a prophet, the wife of Lapidoth, was leading Israel at that time. That's her introductory sentence in the book of Judges. Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lapidoth, was leading Israel at that time, and she held court under the palm of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in the hill country of Ephraim. And the Israelites went up to her to have their disputes decided, and then she sent for Barak, and the story starts. Well, it's interesting. They call her Deborah or Deborah, if you want to say it that way, a more Latinized version. But she was a prophet, and she was the wife of Lapidoth, it says. Now, they've done some very interesting study on who she was. And in Judges 4, verse 4, it says that Deborah, wife of Lapidoth, was a prophetess. And in Hebrew, it's the Eshet Lapido, Lapidot. I spoke it like French, Lapido, Eshet Lapidot. And the rabbis derive Eshet Lapidot from the word lapid in Hebrew, which is torch. And this phrase would therefore refer to her vocation, some of them thought, which was perhaps preparing the wicks for the tabernacle. This is pre-temple days. So preparing the wicks in the tabernacle for the burning of lanterns. Now, what's interesting is that the word actually means a little bit more than that. Now, some rabbinic scholars have taken the wife of Lapidoth in its literal interpretation, renders the words the wife of Lapidoth, Esheth Lapidoth, as a description of Deborah, and they translate them into what the words really mean. Lapidoth is lapish, Lapidot, lapid meant torch. They're saying literally, in the idiom of the day, in the cultural lingo of the day, that Esheth Lapidoth meant woman of lights, either maker of wicks for the sanctuary or woman of flames, referring to her prophetic zeal. So it was also a play on words. So you've got this fiery young woman who was pretty good looking, I think. And it says she's the wife of Lapidoth, which is a word play, meaning she was a woman of fire, a woman of the flames. And and she was a prophetess, and she led the army. And she's the one who said, she said to Barak, you have to go invade the Midianites and stop them from oppressing us. The guy with the 900 chariots, Sisera and all that. And Barak said, well, I'll only go up to do this if you come with me as the prophetess, the symbol of God. I need you there. And she said, I can do that. That's okay. She said, but because you want that to happen, the day will always be remembered as being won by the women. The prophetess, Deborah, the woman of the flames, the woman of flames. And then Jael, we have another card on her out of the same story. Who was Jael, you might ask? Not Jor-El, not Superman's father. Jael. She was a woman who Barak went up. They raided the Midianite camp, the armies. They routed them with 10,000 soldiers. that he gathered up from all the hillsides in Israel. And they routed them. The general Sisera, he ran off for fear of having his life taken. And he came to the tent of Jael. And he rushes into the door of her tent to hide. And he's basically, hide me. Give me milk. Give me something to drink. Give me honey. All this, whatever he asked for. And because, who is he? He's the commander of the invading army. And she does so. And she says, you just lay down to rest. Now, Jael was an Israelite. Any of you know the story without looking it up? What did Jael do? It said when he was fast asleep, resting because he was exhausted, Sisera, the general of the enemy invading armies or occupying armies, she went and got a tent peg and she pounded it through the temple of his head and into the ground. She pounded his head to the ground, obviously killing him. And so the heroes of that particular battle and the ending of the oppression of the Midianites of Israel in its youthful days were two women, Deborah, the woman of flame, and Jael, the woman who pounded the tent peg through the temples of Sisera, the general of the occupying army. And so, very interesting story. We're going to talk more about that this week in one of the shows this week. It could be tomorrow night, could be Wednesday night, something like that. We'll see what's going on with that. So you have to come over to my Patreon and listen to the show. It's still live, but we're working on getting the new chat room set up there. There is a chat room. It's below the window. It's just like a comments page. You got to refresh to see all the chats. Keep refreshing. So I've now got a link to a much better chat room that works in league with Patreon. So we have a chat room like you're seeing here this morning. Just amazingly interactive. That links in with my Patreon page. Trying to get that set up in time for tomorrow night's show. If not tomorrow night, it'll be Wednesday. So let's see. What else we got going on here? Well, I've been doing all the talking. That's just a hint at what that story's about, by the way. That'd make a great movie, wouldn't it? Movie about Deborah, and Barak, the Israelite general, and Sisera, the Midianite general, and Jael, who kills him by shoving a tent peg through his head, pounding him to the ground. Now, you think of that. This is what we did with the Ancient Heroes cards. We wanted to tell the stories of these characters, and that's how I got off on that rabbit trail. Deborah is one of the cards we did. And I'm going to redo that one, I think. I depicted her completely wrong. When I look at the old cards, I look at it and go, I didn't give her much effort. And I just see her in a totally different light now. Especially, I didn't even know the thing about the woman of flame. I didn't even know that about her name back at the time we did these cards. So I'm going to depict her in a very different way. But could you imagine a movie? When I said we did these cards to be something that was biblical characters, yet cool to the comic book buying market. I remember when we were marketing these cards, trying to get distributors to pick them up ahead of time, I had talked to one of the biggest comic book distributors in the country, Capital City, at the time, back in the early 90s. And they distributed my comic books. And so I talked to my connections there. And the guy said, he told me, well, Bible cards, He says, the only problem is, he says, comic books that's Bible stuff. He says, comic books are full of death and demons and killing and whoring and things like that. And my response to him, which sold him on our cards, I said, are you telling me the Bible isn't full of death and depravity and nakedness and warring and darkness and demonic activity? And he laughed, he chuckled, he says, well, I guess you got a point there. I said, the only thing that makes it in that kind of what he would have categorized in that weird category of biblical things is that we think Sunday school, we think teaching little kids with felt boards, storyboards in Sunday school class. And they're always happy and smiling characters in robes and beards and sandals. And I said, the Bible stories, when you look at them as history, that a faith story is wrapped around, you get a totally different picture. So like Deborah, when I looked at how we had written her card and how I had depicted her 30 years ago, very light and different from the way I have over my research over the years, have found her to be a very different person. Fiery woman. She was she wasn't a warrior like, say, a Boudica, but she was a Boudica type of presence, a Joan of Arc type of presence, without actually going to battle herself. And but she was the fiery leader of the country, the judge of Israel, and the prophet of God. And she was a pistol, I think. So I have several boxes full of cards and comic books that we collected over the years. Morgan Snow says, I love comic books. That's all I wanted to do. Back 35 years ago, I was trying to start up a comic book company. And that's where the Bloodlore Chronicles came from. A graphic novel I did, and a series that we were working on. And we were trying to get investors back then. And so my buddy who was in finance at Ford for the last 35 years, back in his early days at Ford, he was doing all the pro formas and the financials for us. We had to do we did a 5-year projection on what this company would do, the kind of money it would make, and the titles. I mapped out 17 different titles initially that would release over the first 2 years. Different artists. I wouldn't be doing all the artwork. I would have my pet projects in there, but a whole comic book line. And investors just they couldn't wrap their brains around it. No, that's publishing. That's comic book publishing. We do medical equipment. That's where we invest our money. Solid, hard stuff. And so Lobo says Morgan Snow was one of my favorite. Yeah, I liked all of those. Dark Horse was one of my favorite comic book companies, the independents. Back when I was doing comic books in the late 80s and the early 90s, there was billions of dollars that were being spent by consumers of comic books. And there were, out of all the companies, there were like 80 different comic book companies. And all of them had a share in those billions of dollars being spent. 2 of them were Marvel and DC, the comic book companies we know of. And they represented like 70% of the market. The rest were shared by the other, I don't know how many it was. It seemed like 60 different companies, independents, making anywhere from $100,000 a year to a few million a year doing their comic books. So that's where we wanted to plug ourselves in. I see Michael is hanging out in the chat. Let's bring Michael in. How you, Dr. Feelgood?
Good morning. Yeah.
How you doing,
Happy
brother?
Father's Day, bud.
Nice flag there. Happy Father's Day to
cards
you, too.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I was opening cards from across the pond this morning, and I heard you say come in here or whatever, join in, because like I said, I've done the podcast by myself before, and it's hard to really do it by yourself.
It's because you're only bouncing stuff off yourself. That's why, on Sundays, I go to the chat room and I pull comments out of the chat room. We talk about that stuff.
Yeah. No, I was going to say,
so.
You got your
But that's what we're doing with this whole Ancient Heroes thing. We're going to be revitalizing that. It's my partner. She contacted me from 30 years ago. I've done some work for her over the years, but she contacted me out of the blue last week and said, I've got all these old files and I can't open them. Do you have the ability to open these? I said, I don't know. Send them to me. So she sent me a big slew of files on Dropbox. And then she said, we're kind of thinking about wanting to revitalize this deck. And I said, I'm looking at this old deck. I said, I just want to redo them all. I look at my art from 30 years ago and I go, ugh. Sometimes I cringe. Sometimes I go, my style hasn't changed that much when it comes to doing comic book art. But I have really tried to work at revitalizing, bringing some new life to the deck. In other words, is what I'm trying to do. And so that's what I've been working on the last few days. What's that?
Oh, you want to talk about art? Look what I got in the mail.
Hold on.
Which?
Let's see. Thanks for being our fur daddy. Oh, nice. From Wendy. That's very nice.
Yeah. And on this side of, with a lot of.
Very nice. Henry Vamp, all of that. Very nice card from Wendy.
Henry Vamp, all of them. Yeah. Oh, shit.
There it is.
No, I got sent to me, and I got them the other day, and I told her, I said, no, I think I'll wait to open them on Sunday.
Nice. Nice.
Then I got the other one. But anywho.
That's great. What a nice card. What a nice Father's Day card.
Yeah. But I didn't know they had their own production company.
It's an overseas shipment.
Yeah, do you see it? It's a Henry Vamp production, a UK.
Nice. That's nice.
Like I said, it's
yes.
Like I said, Moon Pig is who she sent that through, because I sent her a package, and the Royal Post lost it before it could get there. It made it all the way into her neighborhood, then they lost it after it got in her neighborhood.
Oh, I sent her a package
and it got
a couple of months ago.
Yeah,
totally lost and gone.
Yeah,
books in it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be a surprise, and
the Royal Mail is a real
just gone
piece of work. Yeah.
So especially when you're shipping overseas, and it's so dang expensive to ship overseas, and then they lose it.
Yeah.
Come on. There's product in there. There's yada yada.
What really got me was like I said, I put cards and stuff in it, and and kind of put a lot of you put your personal feelings into these cards, and you don't know where the hell they are. You know what I'm saying? It's
right.
And
just don't put any money in.
No. PayPal works for that. PayPal works international.
Yes.
But I was thinking I got more into shipping than I have in the stuff I put in the box. And now I got to fight with the USPS and the Royal Mail to see who's going to pay for what. Hey,
Wendy. Wendy's here too. The Dark Huntress.
Yeah.
She says, "Happy Father's Day, Scotty."
Yeah, she's
I know. I didn't get a card. But that's okay, because I get it.
He said, I get it. No, like I said, I tracked that thing all the way through, all the states, and I'm sitting here on my laptop doing school, and the next thing I'm getting an update. Oh, it's here. It's here.
It said, I got a package.
Then it said it has been delivered. So I ring her up, and I'm like, hey, it should be outside your door. Nothing. Yeah. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, mother, and I guess they got things against books, because I had put a book in there of ghost stories from my hometown.
Oh yeah.
With her being sick, I thought she don't watch a lot of the telly, so I figured send her something to read. A part of where I'm from.
That's
and
cool.
The cocksuckers lose it. I'm not a fan. The new king needs to get their shit together when it comes to the post.
And I thought I was being all coy when I sent her that package. And I'm like, you're going to get a little something in the post.
No.
And what? Oh, I don't know. And of course, then it never shows up. So that pissed me off.
Yeah. And like I said, but the stuff that she usually sends me over, it takes probably 7 to 10 days.
At least a week. Yeah. I was going to say at least a week.
And the mailman, most time, if it's too big to go in the mailbox, he'll set it on one of the folding chairs on the front porch, and he'll hit back on the door. He'll go,
Excuse me.
But most of the time, the dog lets me know he's here long before he pulls in.
Yeah. By the way, here is these cards we're working on. I put this up on my social media stuff, but here, I'll show you guys listening or watching. This is how they look. Now, the one on the left was how I rendered the drawing in 1993, so 30 years ago. The logo for Ancient Heroes at the top, the overall look of the card. Now, the one on the right is the one I did just a couple of days ago, revitalizing. I redid the logo to update it, the look of the card, background, and of course the art. The only way I can do this kind of thing, I just took the old drawings and the old paintings, digitized, and I did digital work on them. So it's digital artwork, but it's there in the background of this card. So that's how the new card looks. And then the flip side has the stories of the character and other information on there as well. So there you can see the difference. If you look at, like, on the left, you see the face of Moses with the beard and so on, and everything's kind of flat and dark and contrasty.
Yeah.
You go over to the card on the right, I was able to go in there and brighten up, put different light angles and tones in there, just by using, it's like using an airbrush with transparent white paint in it.
All right, I'll be right back.
So I go in and I do the white painting on the face and brighten up some areas and so on. So there's that. And so that's how that one turned out. Then we got this. Here's just one of the other ones. I'll just show you two of them. This is the card on Moses. So that's the revitalized card and the old original card. Here's one on Sarah, the wife of Abraham. And so the card on the left, of course, is the 30-year-old card. And yeah, he does have skinny legs, Morgan. Yeah, here, I'll pull that back up. I had a buddy of mine say, wow, he's got skinny shins and ankles. That was just a style of comic booking back. And I said to my buddy said on my Instagram, he says, wow. He says, Brohim has some pretty skinny legs and ankles. And I said, well, you got to figure. Hiking in the desert, climbing mountains at age 80 years old. He's got some skinny shin bones.
Yeah.
So, but here's the one on Sarah and Abraham. As Abraham is called by God and leaves Ur of the Chaldees, leaves Haran. And this is the old card, the original card over on the left. And then here's the refurbished card over on the right. I put a ziggurat in the background and stuff like that. All digital watercolor is what that is. And so that's the way the cards are looking. That's the feel they have. And so I'm having a lot of fun, I got to tell you, with this deck. And so I will do one more. I'll do you one more card I did yesterday. I'll show you this. And I don't want to reveal them all, but I'm in the midst of doing all this. This is, let's call this, I'm just going to rename it Gideon. I remember Gideon. We know about the fleece of Gideon, and he puts out the fleece for God, you know, he wants God to prove what he's asking him to do. And so, but Gideon was one of the judges of Israel as well. And so I did a card on him. Well, we did a few cards on him. Things where he's, you know, by night they go and they tip over the Asherah poles and in the high places, the idol worship and so on. And they went to battle against the Midianites. And I'm sorry, I misquoted when I was talking about Deborah. They were fighting in Ephraim. And it was Gideon who fought the Midianites. There, I just caught myself in that mistake right there. So here's Gideon. I'm going to call him up. This is when they led an attack, a surprise attack on the Midianite camp, and they totally rout the Midianites here. But here you go. I'm going to add that to the stream. There's Gideon. So there's the Battle of Gideon with Gideon. And now I don't have the one from 1992 or 93 in here, but the original art on that was just blank in the background. You saw the yellow flames coming up here, going up to the upper right, but then the background was just an orangey yellow blank, and there was nothing in the background. So I added, again, digital watercolor and airbrush. I added soldiers in the back, made it kind of blurry there in the background, and a little action back there to fill in the gaps. So this is how the art is looking. This is what I'm able to do with the art. And hey, Elderberry. Well, he must have stopped in and had to take off. So he says, have a great day, everyone. I missed you when you came in. So this is how they're looking. So this will be the once they get published and put out there, and she's building a whole website to go with these and all of that cool stuff. So updated from 1993.
Okay.
The things you can.
So where
do.
can you find them when they're all updated, Scotty?
Oh, when these get printed, I don't know. You're going to find them in, of course, Bible book stores and probably comic book shops, stuff like that. That's where they, in 1993, the thing that helped us out, we had Channel 4, the CBS affiliate up here. Well, first, there was an article in the newspaper about them. They ran in the Minneapolis Star Tribune. They, it was a big paper, and they did a big article. And some people think, oh, it's in the local paper. How cute. This is the Minneapolis Star Tribune. Actually, it might have been the St. Paul Pioneer Press. The two cities up here, the Twin Cities, had their buying newspapers, but they had millions of subscribers. Huge newspaper. Gannett, I think, owns them, or Hubbard, or something like that. And they'd been around for decades. And they did a big story, and in their section on local arts and theater and talent and stuff like that, we made the front page of that section of the Sunday paper. And they did one of the cards that I had done, and they had it blown up about this big on the front page, and then the story alongside it and underneath, and it went to the next page. So a big story, and it was in full color in the newspaper. Well, Channel 4 picked that up. They sent a guy named David Wildermuth, and he came out and did a big story on it and went to the bookstores and comic book shops and did all that kind of stuff. About a 4-minute long piece. And it hit the afternoon news, like noon hour, afternoon. But then it got picked up by all the news wires around the country. And that news story was all across the country in every little news channel station you could think of that was CBS affiliate. And that was Thanksgiving Friday, the Friday after Thanksgiving of 1993. Perfect for Christmas shopping.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing went gangbusters, Ancient Heroes out there. So we're hoping to catch that lightning in a bottle a second time. We'll see what happens.
You don't know unless you try.
Mm-hmm. And it's fun. I'm having a fantastic time redoing these cards. So
it takes you back to a little nostalgia. You know what I'm saying?
It sure does.
Nostalgia does.
It's nostalgic, and it also allows me to redo the cards. Yeah, now, if I had the time and the money and to redo all these cards, 52 illustrations, I would. But I don't. I'm only going to do a couple of, like I said, I'm going to redo the Deborah card, because the way I depicted her was just not cool. And that's a bad way to put it. Incredibly historically inaccurate. And doesn't look anything the way like I would depict her today. And some of these other cards kind of do the same thing. They don't really look like what I would do them as today, reflecting on 30 years of research.
That's what I'm saying. But with time.
Yes.
Shall I wear this tomorrow?
Tomorrow. What's tomorrow?
Monday.
Oh, yeah, you can wear that.
Or there's a pair of
Monday.
All right, just show everybody. Should she wear this tomorrow when Abby and Bryn come over and we all go out and do stuff? And I said, sure.
There's also a pair of jean shorts.
A pair of jean shorts? Here, let me turn up the light for you so people can see you.
And I actually did my hair.
There you go. There, she did her hair. You can tell. That's her natural color, by the way. So there you go. That's Rowan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can wear that tomorrow. Why, did Mom say no and she said go ask your dad?
No.
Oh, all right. I just wondered.
Not much. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So that hair's been through hell this week.
Yeah.
So those of you who were here earlier already heard the story.
Hey, I got a pair of clippers. We can take care of that real good.
Yeah, go all Sinead O'Connor on her.
Uh-huh. Demi, what was it? The woman who played in G.I. Jane?
Demi Moore.
Yeah.
Yeah, shaved her head for that role.
Do you know what we're doing yet?
No, I don't really. I'll find
You
out.
know,
Why don't
the
you
doctor
call
there
Evan
said
if you can? See if we can
Oh,
find
you
out.
missed that.
I
He
think
said
they're at
boys are looking
their
back for
grandma's
that.
birthday party. So,
You know, Scotty, you missed that. You know, we got a compliment here and we overlooked it.
what compliment did we get?
Said that you boys are looking very dapper today.
Why, thank you.
I don't know what dapper
Oh,
means.
that's Wendy.
Yeah.
Why, thank you, Wendy. Coming from
Thanks.
you, that bears a lot of weight.
Yes, it does. Like I said, I don't know what dapper means, but I'll take it.
Dapper. You look
Dapper.
good. You look good. You're dressed well. Your hair's done.
Yeah, well, yeah, got to.
You're dapper.
Let the necklace
Let's see.
show.
What's the actual definition of dapper?
Oh no, I'll ask Google.
Neat,
Hey Google, what's the
neat and
definition of
trim.
dapper?
Neat and trim in dress and appearance, typically used
Dapper
of
is
a
used as an
man.
adjective to mean neat and trim in dress and appearance, typically used of a man,
Boom.
similarly to smart and spruce. Do you want to hear dapper used in an example?
No.
So
Boy, Google,
there you go.
Google to the rescue. You know what I'm saying? If I don't, there's
Yeah.
Phil guy. I haven't seen him in a while.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Hey Google, stop. She's just trying to be too helpful today.
Here's how you use dapper in a sentence. Let's see. Example: the students all looked very dapper in their uniforms. The dapper gentleman drew admiring glances from all over the ballroom. There you go.
Yeah, there's Phil guy. I don't know where Phil guy's hiding at.
There's
You know-
quotes here. Scott Ostler, the sfchronicle.com, says this night, one of his guests is an elderly, dapper gentleman named Plenty Wings. Wingo. Okay, science fiction. Actor and choreographer Darnell Pierce Benjamin is one of those people who manages to look dapper even when he's dressed down. So says David Lyman. And then Anna Heyman said, lined with fuzzy lamb's wool and featuring a non-skid rubber sole, these are the ultimate house slipper for the dapper dude in your life. So it's well-dressed, well-groomed gentleman is dapper. There you go.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll take it. Oh, yeah. No. But, you know, I started getting into the whole blokes post box or stuff like that. I'm thinking, you know.
Yeah.
I
Hey, field
need-
guy. Keep going. Just
Oh,
interjecting that.
No, so I figure if I'm going to be dapper, you know, I might as well bring in some class.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a little bling. I used to have, I don't like necklaces on chains anymore because I always got the impression of, I'm like the Italian dude with the hairy chest, and I wear a track suit all the time, and I got the little gold horn on the gold chain. I just didn't like the look, so I would start putting. I had two crosses I wore. One was a Celtic cross, and the other was a cross that was made with old Roman glass from 2,000 years ago. Little chips that they had put in it. And Rainey and I got, 13, 14 years ago, got matching ones at the Stanley Hotel in their little gift shop. They had these. And two little crosses that kind of matched. One's was a woman's, one's a man's. And it had the little glass chips of Roman glass in it that were green over the years. And so I wore those two crosses, but I would string them together on one. I had a leather string that I tied a big knot in, and I wore those.
You want to talk about the ultimate upcycling instead of recycling, upcycling.
Upcycling, yeah.
Oh, Wendy, she was showing me a thing yesterday in her pictures, and it, I think it's in Canada of the guy who built like this. It's like a Scottish style castle, whatever. And it's got this haunted stairway where this bride got her bell hooked into a candle stem, and she fell and broke her neck, and they had to go in and
that sucks.
and tell the husband to be your bride died.
Yeah.
And you're talking about the Roman glass and stuff like that, but it you're talking about 2,000 years. But I'm thinking, damn, I need to go check this place out because it looked, like a Scottish castle.
Nice.
It's and I know she'd love to go back, and I could see the Scottish castle without going over than whatever. But
Yeah.
But she's still in the comments here. She can type in what it is so you can look it up. But it's
Wendy,
really
you
cool.
should come on if you're feeling up to it today. And I saw your picture with your dad. Was that today? You look pretty good. If you have a chance, come on. Come on.
I was talking to her, right before I came on, and she's doing better, but still ain't 100%. And
right.
Henry's doing a lot better. He's back into distilling biscuits and doing all the things a basket house does. And he was a sick puppy for a while.
Yeah.
And
hey, can you talk for 2 minutes? I'm going to go refill my coffee.
Hey, while you're there, refill mine too.
Hey, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Bring a cup.
There it is.
Well, cheers. I'll be right
there's the name
back.
of the hotel. Okay,
Here, I'm going to give you the full screen even.
All right. Okay, let's look over here in the comments and see what we got here. Okay, we got Phil Guy. Haven't heard nothing from Phil Guy in a while. Okay. Hope you've been doing all right. Okay. And there's Megan. There's Wendy. Let me see who else we got there. Matthew Shrewsbury. I don't know, but what's everybody's plans for Father's Day? Going to go out, hang out with the kids, hang out with your fur babies. I haven't seen my biological kids. I seen my fur babies this morning. They was happy. But like I said, Wendy really nailed how my day goes. Dogs and kitty cats. And I said, oh, that ain't got the UK thing on it, but that means a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, when your biological kids grow up and move on and roll out, you're left with your fur babies. And like I said, all of them that's pictured on that picture, there's Mila and Poseidon and Hogan and Henry and Banff and Crowley. They're all a big part of our everyday life, and they need good fur mommies and fur daddies. And I always said, if you're gonna bring them in like a pet, leave them out soon for somebody else. Bring them in and treat them like family. Oh, Phil Guy says, I still do YouTubes. Did I ever subscribe to you? You got to send me the link. I had to come home from the new studio that's still under construction. But at least it ain't out of the living room no more. But no, the Banner Palm Springs Hotel. I saw the pictures. I really want to go there. So what's everybody's Father Day plan today? Dinner with the kids, lay on the couch, watch TV, curl up, read a book, mow the grass on Father's Day. What kind of presents have you got? New mower, weed eater. I don't know. Damn. Bill Guy, what's your subject on YouTube's? Since ain't nobody talking about what they're going to do for Daddy's Day. Me, I'm going to hang out with the fur babies. Drink some coffee. Call Wendy back after I get off here. It's been my day doing little or nothing. Finish up some school papers. And just go with the flow. Stress-free day. That's the orders of the day. Might work on the studio some more since I look at it and it looks bare. It looks like Scotty has disappeared. Might have to send out a search party for Scotty. All right. All right, Matthew. Okay, this is no problem. Okay, still send my best wishes to my friends and family as well. Yep, when we lose parents, Matthew, it is really hard to do on days like birthdays and holidays. So you just have to find ways to deal with your grief, and like I said, you got to keep your head up. That's the only thing you can do. Keep your head up, keep driving forward. Okay. Hazar was leading the city among the Canaanites. All right, you back. All righty.
Let's see.
All right, here you go. Did you bring enough for everybody?
Oh, no, I forgot. Sorry.
So, right,
It's enough for me.
Should have
Me, myself, and I. All three of us.
But yeah, it says the baddest
Skill
team.
guy still does YouTuber.
Yeah, that's what I said. Ask him where he been. Hadn't seen him. I need to find him.
Hey, Beth Kirkham. Good to see you.
All of that. Yep. I asked him, I said, what's everybody doing on Father's Day? I told him, I said, I want to do I might work on my.
We're cleaning house today. That's what we're doing for Father's Day, because we got my my daughter's going to be here tomorrow for a couple of days, and the house it's a flipping disaster. I don't know how it gets that way. I like neat, so it's my three children. My wife, I can't blame her. She's always busy. It's my kids.
But you know what they tell me? When you get older, you won't need or whatever, because you're so used to that. What my mom used to call the live-in look. People come in.
Oh, we're definitely got the lived-in look.
And everybody's like, I'm afraid I won't do this. My mom always said, this is a what is it? What she said, this is a home, not a house. Bring your ass in. Yeah. We had the lived-in look. And it was, she had three big old boys, a husband that was off, somewhere else mentally. Most of the time, he was like, just wandering around. Still does. But this poor woman, at one time, there's 4 grown men coming in and out of the house, and she was this little woman, and she was busy, But no, it's like I said, I see Matthew. You're talking about, he spent last night with his dad, and that's like I was telling him earlier when he was getting coffee. The holidays. When you lose somebody like Father's Day, Mother's Day, Christmas, any of the holidays brings back a flood of emotions, good and bad. And Philip Blair said, I preferred the lived-in look.
Hey, Philip Blair, I didn't see you sneak in.
But that's what I tell him. This here, I have 2 big old dogs and a cat. In a small home. And like I said, I tell them, rich people have designer tags on their clothes. Happy people have fur and kitty litter on, or kitty fur on theirs. What is that thing doing? I hear it somewhere or another. If it doesn't get comfortable, you got to go look and make sure one of them ain't bending ass. You know what? But no, what I'm saying? The lived-in look is a new thing. And
I'm okay with the lived-in look as long as it's neat.
Yeah.
And it's clean. Somebody's here.
Oh,
hold on. Boom.
Oh, there she is.
Hey, Wendy.
Hey.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm not 100%, but I'm hopefully getting there. I'll know more this week. But yeah, I just wanted to say Happy Father's Day, really, to you, Scotty, and also just say hi and thank everybody for just all their kind wishes that they sent to me and this young man.
And Henry.
Let me get the glasses on here. Look at him. Like I said, I knew Henry was getting a little bigger. I was talking to Wendy, and I looked over, and Henry's standing on the table. He's looking for biscuits. This little dog would lay about this long.
What they do. You think that they're greeting you and they're happy to see you. It's like the dog. She comes out and she wags her tail at me, or the cat rubs around my ankles. They're all just looking for more food. They're scavenging. Yeah. It's like, you don't care about me. You care about my food. So,
I get that.
Oh, well. But Lucy likes to get her ears scratched. So,
no, but Henry is doing a whole lot better. I'd rather have him into something that's laying around lethargic. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I'd rather-
we don't know the outcome yet, because obviously he had a superbug in his ears, and he went to the vet for a procedure to flush them out, and they did it by sedation. And because he's got separation anxiety, we were said, like, don't leave him on his own, you know, like he can't be left on his own. And so they did the procedure, and they found out that both of his eardrums have ruptured from the superbug. Even though we were using all the medication for it, we were doing everything, it didn't work. So they left him alone, and he barked and took in loads of gas, and then they fed him, and then he carried on barking, and it distended his stomach, and we had to rush him to an emergency vet. And they said it could go to, you know, it's on its way to going to bloat. And they actually said to me, if it goes to bloat, he is 11 years of age, so it's probably not worth doing. And I was like, how dare you even say that to me? You know, that's
Yeah,
that's my choice. But he made it through the night, and his stomach came back down. But we still don't know about his ears. We don't know if the damage is, he'll either go deaf completely, or his eardrums could repair themselves. So hoping for the other one, but it took a couple of days to get him back to some sort of normality. And then I went sick. You know, I went sick a couple of days. Actually, I went sick really sick the night, because I'd gone to do the convention, and I'd had this UTI. And I'd gone to do the convention, and I worked so hard, and I didn't drink much that day with Mark, and we were just so busy that literally Wednesday night, Thursday morning, I woke up so ill, and then I've been up and down the hospital, CAT scan, blood work, you know, 4 or 5 different antibiotics, really strong antibiotics. And they're like, even now, as I'm sitting here, I do not feel like I'm 100% back to normal.
Oh boy.
And so I got to go and see a specialist, and they want to see if there's anything else that is causing issues, which is a little bit disconcerting.
Yes.
So yeah, a little bit nervous.
We may or may not be back on Tuesday with Robertson. All depends on.
It
how
all
she's
depends on how I'm feeling. And the thing is that, you know, it's the same with Wicked Women, you know, because Val's not been too well. I know Carly's not been well. And I just, you know, I think when you're ill, you have to put yourself first, and otherwise you cannot give your best. And I won't do something unless I can give my best. And for me, Scotty, you know, for me not to do Robertson, I've come on there with my throat being so bad, and like, you do all the talking and I'll just nod, but I have to be honest. This is kind of not me. And I'm actually at my mum's. I'm still not 100% home, because I've just tend to go up and down. So she's been great. And so Henry and I are just sort of hanging out here, but so many people wrote so many lovely messages, and I'm so grateful. I mean, you know, genuine people that really gave a shit and cared about Henry, because he's got a big following. And just, it just really meant a lot to me. It really, really did. But I have to be honest, I am a bit nervous about what's going on, because I want to get back to normal, and yet I seem to get halfway, and then I sort of stick there.
Yes. And, you know, it's only an hour and a half, we think, but still, it's sometimes just daunting getting to that place where you're like, I got to do radio today.
Yeah.
And it's not that we don't love it and enjoy it and think we have some good things to talk about, but
like Raini, I have autoimmune disorders. I actually have 10 autoimmune disorders. Most people look at me and they see the woman that I persona out there. Her hair's done, her makeup's done. This is Wendy. And that's the image that is me. That is Wendy.
Yeah.
But underneath that, I also have a lot of health issues that I battle with every day. And I think when you go, and it was really scary going in casualty, because we're sending you for a CAT scan, we're doing blood work, and it was so confusing because all my blood work is perfect. The CAT scan was fine, yet they could see I was ill from other things. And I just like, Raini, somebody tell me what's wrong with me, because the drugs aren't working and I feel so ill.
That's Raini all the time these days. It's like,
Same as
She
me.
goes to the doctor, and the doctor's like, well, we don't find anything wrong. We can give you this. And she's like, I don't want more meds. I want to know why I don't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And they can't seem to figure it out. There's always something underlying.
Yeah.
Is it just we're growing older, not elderly? I don't mean it that way. We're just growing older. We're not kids anymore, and our body's acting differently.
Yeah, you got to take
It
care of
does different
yourself.
things. And
You know, I hate it when they treat symptoms and not the core problem.
yes, yes,
You know, when I left the Army, I was so used to them fixing the problem and not treating symptoms that when I started dealing with health professionals on the civilian side, I'm like, what? Oh, no, we're going to try this, see if it works. I don't want to see if it works. I want to get back in the fight.
yep.
Like, oh, no. Oh, I'm the doctor. Trust me.
Yeah. And it's
No,
like
yeah.
the other day, I went to not the doctor, but I had to go see, well, she's a doctor. I had to go see the podiatrist for my foot, and I had to go see the diabetes specialist. She's got to do it to keep getting your meds
Yeah.
and your prescriptions. And she's not a doctor, not a physician, but she totally re-prescribed all my meds. She's like, you don't need this anymore. You don't need this anymore. You're doing a great job. It's under control. Looks good. I'm going to put you on this and this. This is a once a week shot as opposed to twice a day. And I said, oh, bless you. And, because folks, diabetes, I take 5 shots a day on minimum. I take 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning that are long-term, 1 in the evening that's long-term. Then I got to take the short-term before every meal. And I poked myself so many times, usually in the fat roll, the fat stores of your body, because it sits there and it slow releases.
You feel like a voodoo doll or
yeah, I feel like a voodoo doll.
It's come so bad in the UK because when you ring up your doctor, you have some receptionist who has no medical experience whatsoever.
Yep.
Who vets you and goes, well, is it an emergency? Who do you need to see? And the doctor I had has now gone. Then I had another doctor I got to know. They've now gone. So now there's no doctor that knows me. So when you try and see a doctor, that you've got 10 minutes to put everything into. And I actually had a row with the woman on the phone, and I'm like, she goes, why do you need to see a doctor? And I went, it's personal. And if you say that, they cannot ask you anything else.
It's like the doc's going to ask me no matter what. It's that you're not giving me to a different doctor for different symptoms. I just need to see my doctor over stuff. Have them look at my record. I'll be in.
Yeah, quit being nosy. Do your damn job. Put my name down. Make me an
You feel like you want to ring them up and say, actually, I've got this really bad rash and I'm itching. And, and so they get them going because literally they just don't. And when you go there, they're like, we have a 10-minute slot, and it's either between crazy times like 3:02 to 3:12 that you've got.
3:02 to 3:12. Okay.
Crazy.
Don't be late.
Whereas you go to the hospital and they're like, there's a 6.5 hour. I went there at 7:15 one morning, and they saw me at 1:30.
Oh my!
And I sat there and thinking, like, I just want to crawl in a hole and die.
You know what's crazy? That with the time difference, she had already went to the doctor and sat there. Then I woke up. And I'm like, oh, how are you? And she told me, how everything was. And but I was looking at Philip Blair here. Did you read that? I was reading a book that referred to a man as a 59-year-old man as an elderly man.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah, I was trying to read it the way he wrote it.
What book was that? And when did that come out? Like in 1930?
Yeah.
That's weird to me. 59 is not elderly.
No, not at all.
Anymore by any
only 59. I always say that. You're only 59. You're only 52. You're only whatever. Of course, Michael is the youngest one here.
He is.
Which is so annoying. But I
just had a birthday, so
this man next door to you, Scotty, has been at my sanity. He got me through so many days where I've been sick.
Yes.
And just every day, are you okay? Is there anything I can do for you? And he was marvelous with Henry. And I think that when you're ill, you can count on your hands the true friends, you know what I mean, that you've really got. and the people that are there for you, because everybody, everybody's got their own life. Very few people have got time. Also, another thing I tend to do when I'm ill, I tend to recluse myself. I shut myself away. So people try and contact me and I'm like, no, I hide away. So it takes some pursuing to get hold of me, because I'm like, you're not going to leave me.
And then there's some people, maybe it's you Brits, stiff up a lip and all,
It's true.
My closest friend in the whole world, John Ward.
Yeah.
I just learned he put a post out. He didn't even talk to me about this. He told me he was having some problems the last year, going in for something with his nervous system is messy and so on. And he let some of that out in public posts, so I wouldn't talk about that. But 2 days ago, he sent a picture from his hospital bed. He's undergoing chemo.
I know.
So I don't even know what his cancer is. I don't know what's happening. And
I think it is a British thing as well.
It's a British thing. I'm not going to tell anybody.
We do tend to just get on with it and just like...
Your closest friend in the world, he didn't tell me.
No.
Until I read it in a post. And so...
Then it makes you want to go shake him really good, even though he's sick. It's like, why didn't you tell me?
Yeah.
Let me be there with you.
He kind of hinted at things, but he never. I asked him once, a couple of months ago. I said, do you think cancer is anything? And he says, I don't think so. Is what he said. His nervous system.
But we've heard that before too.
We have.
We know. He's like,
we have.
We don't know nothing in. And it's kind of like,
I think we're all frightened of that big word.
Yeah.
And it's
like
Scotty
Beth Kirkham, her response.
We were going to have that show on, and we still will, on Robertson about death and about how people are scared to talk about death.
Yeah.
And I've been reading a lot of Dolores. I think her name is Dolores Cannon. Have you read her, Scotty?
I have not.
She is she was an amazing medium. She wrote fantastic books. And it's, when you're ill, I think you tend to go to a place where you're like, come on, help me. You reach out to something or somebody out there, right? And you just tend to look for your faith. And I can't, when Henry was ill and he was so ill in the vet and we all thought he wasn't going to make it. I tell you, I done something I haven't done for so long. I just prayed my heart out. I prayed that he would pull through, right? Because I'd rather I had gone through it than Henry had gone through it. And because I don't have children, I will never have children. Sadly, I lost my babies. Henry's my baby. He's my child.
But
so it's like, he's my fur kid.
Yeah, but sure. What was really bad about that night, which I was on the phone with her, but the woman had such a shitty bedside manner when it came to Henry. You won't talk about invading the nation. I thought, if I had to get on an airplane, lady, me and you are not going to like it because I have to.
Because vets are a license to print money, and it's like they wouldn't even treat Henry until £500 had gone over. And I'm like, I've got £500. Just put it down. Just go and do him. She's like, no, you don't understand. I'm like, look, you wanted £500. There's your £500. Do it. And he was crying and crying in the background, and she was awful. And I just
word from the word go. She was. If I'd been there. Being and another thing, when we was talking about the other thing about long distance. As much as I wanted to be there, I was dealing with my dad here, which is always a clusterfuck. When he's like, I'm like, you need to shut the hell up around the truck. I'm dealing with something. And he's like, oh, okay. Then 2 minutes later, it's right back again. I'm like, hush.
I know it's stressful.
And I'm like, Wendy and Henry needs me right now. You're fine. You're in the truck. The air conditioner's on. You're not going anywhere. Unless you don't stop, then you're going to be walking home. It's like
I don't lose my shit very often, but when I get sick or Henry's sick, I lose my shit. And I'm really good with everybody else. If everybody else is going through problems or stress, I'm like, I'm fine. It's great. You're going to get through this. But when it comes to me or Henry, I'm a wreck. I'm an absolute wreck.
Well, that's the thing too. When it's other people, human beings, we've got the reason to go say, I'm going to go see my doctor about this problem. I can take care. I can steam my face. I can take meds, whatever I have to do, I can rest. A dog, like you say, it's your fur baby.
Yes.
He is totally dependent upon you to help him out. There it is. Yeah, he showed off that card this morning.
He's very proud
Very
of that
nice.
card.
Yes, I can tell.
Like I said, I love it. And like I said, I pulled it out and I looked at it. And the pictures that she has taken over the 6 months, like me and Mila,
Yes.
and everybody says, "How close are you to your dog?" I said, that dog is with me. If I'm home, she's with me every step of the day. And Poseidon is worming his way in more and more. He's figuring out his spot. I put him out on the front a lot because he's a damn wrecking ball in the house. He is. He's just a big old goofy ass thing with a big ass head, and it's like a bowling ball going through the house, slinging toys or whatever. I'm thinking, not next to the big TV. No,
they are. I mean, they are like people that they're part of the family. And I was saying to you, Scotty, because I was at the hospital on my own, and I know that you went to hospital and you were on your own. You're like, the UK and US must, I think, I know the Canadian experience in hospital was far more pleasant and proficient and quick than the UK version is. I have to tell you that. I would rather be in hospital in Calgary than I would be in London, that's for sure.
Sure.
And having had both experiences, I definitely prefer it. But they're just not that friendly, really. But what they are now doing, they're giving you biscuits, they're giving you water. They're giving you water bottles and biscuits, like in hospital, there's a big bar of biscuits but if the water runs out, they've got like this little machine. You can almost buy battery chargers now and things like that. And but it's like their hands are tied. They're like, we've only got so many drugs we can give you, and you sort of feel so alone, and you want someone to be with you like you did when you were in hospital, but you knew that you couldn't be there, right? And it sucks.
Yeah, especially during COVID when I had to go to the hospital during COVID and you couldn't have a visitor. It's like, what? My kids can't come up with my wife to see me?
Yeah.
And this last time, 2 weeks ago when I was in, it was so overcrowded that I had to go into a room. I actually had to be in a room with another person, which I've never had that before. And so, the little curtains in between, and there's some guy over there that had his leg amputated that was in the bed next to me. And we didn't talk because he was never awake. He was just always groaning in his sleep. But they didn't have a room for me. Usually when I go for the same procedures, I always had my own room.
Well, in the UK, they used to have, and I don't know if they still do, male and female wards. So you're joined. Yeah. And I found that very strange that you could be females on one side and males on the other.
Yeah.
Because when I was in hospital with COVID, luckily I was only in there for my asthma, not for any other reason. It was probably, I ate so well. They fed me really, really well. But there's no bedside manner from the staff. There's no empathy. We've got so many different people here, so many foreign people, so many foreign nurses and doctors, and you get used to one person coming around and then another one's in, and it is a
you don't know who you're seeing anymore. Even over here it's that way, Wendy, because every hour there was some new person came in, like, hi, and I was always up. I try to have an up attitude even if I don't feel good.
But our
medical, like, hey, who are you?
Industry is in shambles right now all over the world. I got a real good friend, Wendy's met him or whatever. I ain't gonna put his name out here, but he got let go. He's a good RN. He's been doing it for almost 15 years. Very proficient. When I almost cut my finger off, he's the one that comes to cut my stitches out and stuff. And but the lady come in, put a mannequin in the bed. They're already understaffed, overworked. And she told him, said, you need to go treat this mannequin like a real person. He said, but I have real patients that are living and breathing for now as long as they get urgent medical care. And my real patients come first. You can take your mannequin and basically shove it.
Yep.
They fired him on the spot, said he had an outburst. I said, a nurse is a patient advocate. Because
Yeah.
you know, and
Because
if
you
your
can
nurse don't
afford
know
to,
what's
it's
going on
good
with you, the
ultimately.
doctor don't know. And but that was from the American Heart Association. The lady was just a twat, and got her feelings hurt because he would not quit tending his, you know, flesh and blood breathing patients, and go play basically with a full grown doll.
But it's like even with the vets, you're paying the money. You're
Yeah.
paying. Like I'd already
Yeah.
paid them over £600 for the procedure, right?
Mhm.
And you think because you're paying for it, you'll get better treatment. I remember in 2019, Scotty, you probably remember this. I was so sick, and I paid
I remember.
£15,000. I saw 6 doctors, gastro doctor, all kinds of doctors,
Mhm.
and you pay all this money, and you're like, I feel
What am I
like,
paying for?
what am I paying for? Like, I might as well just go and sit and wait for 7 months until I drop dead, or they actually find what's wrong with me. But I think it is for this country is a mess right now. Like the UK is a mess, and we are, you know, the government is, there's so many things coming up now about the lockdown Christmas party and everything, what they did behind the scenes. And with all due respect, you know, none of them have really squeaky clean over here.
Sure.
And
Same here.
it will just go on and on and on for a while. But we need a third alternative party in the UK to actually kick both the Conservative and Labour government.
I think we need that over here too.
We need a
but,
third.
but nobody ever votes.
There is one here called Reform, and they're talking about Boris Johnson and Nigel Farage, who did the Brexit,
Yeah.
to join
like
together.
Nigel.
But you know, at the end of the day, you just think. And then I read I was saying to Michael, the really sad news, which I heard over there, that on Thursday in Ohio, a guy shot his 3 children. He lined them up in the garden, and that just floored me. I cried when I read that. Like,
Yeah.
and one son got away, and he tried to run away from his dad, and his
he
dad
hunted him down.
What makes someone do that?
What makes somebody do that? You can be all sterile and say this is either mental illness or it's something snapped in the guy or the guy's psychotic.
Yeah.
You could go to the spiritual side and say it might be something that was working through him. You know, there's all these different theories we have, but I couldn't imagine snapping so bad that you do that to your own kids and your family.
He said he planned it for a week.
What's that, Michael?
He had planned it for a week.
Yeah, he had planned it. So that's not that's premeditated.
I mean, something like that, he'll do life, or he'll do
probably the needle. Ohio, I think Ohio's still at the needle.
Just gonna say
that's
that.
good.
Like,
yeah, he doesn't need to live anymore.
No.
How could you live with that, knowing that you took your children's lives?
There has to be something incredibly snapped if you could.
Something ain't rotating right no more.
Yep.
Oh, there's
Philip Blair said lots of parents kill their gay children. The local news reports are all over. I see now. I've never even heard of that, Philip. For it being so prevalent, I've never even heard.
Well,
that.
I know certain cultures, if you are.
Oh, in certain cultures, yeah.
They do, yeah.
Certain cultures, they'll take you up to the house building of God and toss you off and hope you can
toss you off the roof. Yeah.
Well, they used to give what was that years ago? They used to give, like, I think it was in the army as well. They used to, if you were gay, they'd kick you out of the army as well.
Oh, yeah,
you get kicked out.
Discharge. Yep.
There you go.
Well, I know a lot of tough gay guys, so you know, they can handle the military just fine. But it's, you know, it's like anything else when it comes to gay, trans, straight, whatever it is. Don't push it on my kids. Everybody misinterprets that nowadays about the whole trans thing, and I got no problem with anybody wanting to do what they want to do that makes them happy, especially in the United States. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If that makes you happy, do it. I don't care. It doesn't bother me.
Trump and Boris Johnson are both going through it at the same time right now. And they were both seen as beacons of light for both countries.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I had an outburst. I ain't going to call it an outburst. But I was on coffee with KB, and, you know, when he was watching, she's like, just breathe. And they come out and and I forget who it was, but they're like, oh, one way, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, no, that is not what I fought for. That is not what I
Yeah.
bled for. I bled so anybody in this country could do whatever makes them happy, as long as it don't hurt nobody else.
Yeah.
And I
And
said,
as
no.
long as you don't, for me, if somebody was trying to push a sexually oriented lifestyle on my fourth grader, they'd have some business from me.
That'd be an issue.
You leave my kids out of the equation. When my
What was
kids are 18, they can decide what they want to do.
What was that you were reading in the Daily Mail, Michael, about the 12-year-old and the 11-year-old?
Let me see. Can I pull us up here and still be on? Let me see here.
You should be able to. Like,
it says
it's the Daily
12-year-olds
Mail.
are being
England?
taught. Oh, yeah. Okay, can y'all still hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
12-year-olds are being taught about anal sex in school, while 9-year-olds are told to masturbate for homework. These shocking lesson plans used by teachers in the UK classroom. School children are being taught about anal sex and orgasms before they have reached puberty and set
I don't even
masturbation as
hear.
homework.
Just shut the upstairs door. Thank you.
Wow.
Okay. Secret lesson plan revealed. Many teachers are introducing children to scientifically false claims about biological sex, presenting gender as fluent, while furthering a narrative that people can be born in their own body. It comes as a NHS is facing massive legal actions from 1,000 families who claim their children were rushed into life-changing puberty blockers by something that are Travis Stock Center.
I don't know about you, Scotty, but when I was 9, I was not thinking about anything like that. I was thinking about where's my Cindy doll and where's my Girls World and stuff like that.
When I was in 3rd and 4th grade, get home to watch Star Trek or Dark Shadows and go play.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about masturbating. I wasn't thinking about, maybe that came in 5th grade. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But, the attraction to girls came later.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't care where you stand on this issue. Anybody out there listening, I have it's not even tolerance. It's that I don't care. You can be whatever you want to be. But if you want to push that on my children, you will get a fight from me. I don't want a heterosexual coming into school talking about masturbating or having vaginal sex with guys, and I don't want that talked about either. These are my kids. You let me talk about that to my kids. If I'm a repressed adult and I can't talk about it to my kids, they're going to figure it out. You think my 11-year-old doesn't already know all about what sex is about? The superficial? Yeah, she knows because it's all those kids talk about.
When I was at school, sex education was frogs. Like they showed us a video on frogs having sex, right? And just before I left school, obviously AIDS had come in, and they had brought in condoms in, and they were like, "So here's a banana, and here's a condom," and we were all like, "Hang on a minute, we were talking about frogs." And now we've got a banana with a condom, and it's like, I don't know about you, but my parents didn't really give me the whole sex.
Yeah, I didn't get it from my parents. I got it from my friends. Philip Blair says, look up the 9-year-old boy who was bullied into suicide after he told his schoolmates he was gay. Sad. Yeah, that stuff happens. You've also got guys that'll commit suicide that are a 9-year-old or 10-year-old or 12-year-old because they have a zitty face and somebody makes fun of them. They're at that emotional stage. Yeah. That's not the stage where you start trying to push sexuality on them.
No.
And is somebody gay when they're 9? I doubt it. At least not in the active acknowledgement sense. No. And I don't know why there are certain people within the LGBTQ plus movement that think it's necessary to start teaching them that. It's not. I think when kids start coming of age and sexuality is a real question, that's where parents can sit down and talk to them. Or they can have counselors to talk to. I think you don't push it in the schools. You keep your sexuality lectures off of my kids while they're young.
Yeah.
My mum
There's a
my
certain
mum
age
told
level.
me, Wendy, if you French kiss, you can get pregnant. And I was like, for years that was in my head, and obviously she said that to me to scare the shit out of me,
It
so
worked.
that I never actually went near a boy to at least 10 years after that. But
Oh,
you
Yeah.
know what I mean? It was such a different
And Philip,
time.
I got to say, Philip, that is a sad tale. It's a sad tale that kids would be bullied by other kids for something as inane as that.
Yeah.
But it happens. It's like talking about. I'm not making a comparison, but it's like talking about mass shootings. You
mhm.
know that mass shooters comprise 0.000007014% of the American population. But it's dictated our entire talk about how guns should be used. Because that 0.000000014% of the American population has misused them. Kids that are bullied by other kids, kids get bullied by other kids for anything.
Oh,
You can
yeah.
get bullied because you have red hair or freckles. You can get bullied because you like another boy. And at 9 years old, do they really understand what that's all about? I liked boys when I was 9 years old. I wasn't gay.
Yeah.
I
Look
had
at the
my friends. We didn't like girls because girls had cooties.
What was it? The
You
one
know?
what was it? The Little Rascals had. They had their old clubhouse there.
The
He-Man.
the
Woman
He-Man
Hater Club.
Woman Haters Club.
Yeah. No girls allowed.
No girls allowed. Yeah,
You
we
know,
did that when we were 8 and 9.
But
You
they had
know?
a pit bull that rolled with them. You know.
I think I was about 12
Yes.
when I
Petey.
noticed that boys existed, and my first boyfriend, I think, came at around 13, I think, and even
Yep.
then I was not interested in all that malarkey. It was, I think, until you get older and you really understand everything, and it's something that I think a lot of kids do it now. They jump
Yeah.
into it so quick, and it's like, do you know the womb, the uterus, isn't fully formed until you're at least 16.
Yeah.
And it's still growing. And
Well, why are there movements out there that think, well, we have to prep kids at age 6 to be prepared for this coming 10 years from now?
Well, they were saying
no, you don't.
in the
Shut
U-
up.
in the UK, gonorrhea is one of the highest. Was it 12 to 14-year-olds are now being tested for gonorrhea? That is shocking.
Yeah.
12
is
to
shocking.
14.
Well, and by the way, Philip, I have a theory. You said I can't imagine that was any more sexual than Jack and John exchanging Valentines. Maybe not. But the problem is our society nowadays has made that into what it is because of all the stuff our kids are exposed to.
Yeah.
I used to say when I had my
always
3
stimulated.
older kids, I said, I'm raising my kids to be innocent as long as possible
Mm.
because the world's going to hit them between the eyes
Absolutely.
soon enough.
Yeah.
So I tried to maintain their innocence. I don't want to expose them to anything. And you know what? They found out by themselves. And they're normal people today. So
my daughter was 30-something.
I found out by myself. I didn't get told how to be gay or how to be trans or how to be straight when I was 9 or 8, 10 years old. And you know what? Turned out okay.
Yeah, like I said, Shelby come out. She's been married to 2 women, 2
Yep.
divorces.
And especially the thing nowadays that is hide it from your parents. That's the big, you can hide this from your parents. What are they teaching to say you can hide this from your parents? No, your parents are your life.
It's that guy on TikTok, wasn't it? I actually can't remember
Yes.
right now. And he's saying, kids, write to me, like DM me, and we can talk privately.
Right.
Excuse me, a grown man telling children to write
Mhm.
things is a little bit disconcerting.
It is.
Oh, no, you can't see it on the wall, but I got the antidote for that. But anywho.
But anyway, listen, guys, I'm going to go because I'm going to go back and lie down. But I just
So
wanted
great
to
to see you.
It's so nice to see you and to just.
And she
pop
always
on
looks so
here.
lovely. Don't she? She always looks
She
pretty.
does. She looks lovely. I saw her the other day. She had
Yeah.
just talked to you 2-3 days ago, and I called her up, or she called me up. I called you. I can't remember who called who. And she was laying on her side. She was dressed. Her makeup was done. Her hair was done. She was just resting.
Yeah,
And
you don't
looked
see Wendy without
absolutely
the outer
lovely.
Wendy put
Beautiful.
on.
I shall die like that because
You shall die like that.
I come from a family where my mum was like, and my mum said to me, she doesn't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's like you get up and you do your hair and makeup, and and I made a vow in 2019 when I was
Yes.
so bad. I was like, every day I shall get up and do it, and that's why I do it.
Here, now you can show off the full color of your hair. I'm going to back that mic off. She's got the braid out of her hair now. I got to turn the light way up so you can see. Here, let me
Pretty.
take your hat off so you can see.
Looks beautiful.
Mom helped her color her hair yesterday.
I did it by myself.
It's called Ritual Red.
It looks really
But
nice.
she had it all braided, and it was when I first saw it, and it was absolutely gorgeous. I took a picture of it, but look at that. Look at it. Okay, turn back around. It looks wonderful on you.
Lays and waves.
Beautiful.
That's
It
good.
looks wonderful.
I need these for your Father's Day gift.
Okay. Oh, that's for my Father's Day gift?
Okay.
And by the way, it's after 11, so we're going to cut this short anyway now that Wendy's leaving.
Yeah.
But I was going to tell you, you was talking about talking to her, talking about her mom. I don't know if you had seen her mom or whatever, but the other day when
I
Henry
have.
had got into the purse to get the biscuits.
Oh,
Like I said, I was there, when Wendy's mom
Yes.
had her accident or whatever, and I'm thinking, this poor little old 80-some-year-old woman is so frail or whatever, and I'm thinking, poor mom, I won't have to take her under the wing and protect her, and I'm thinking, and I don't know what it is. Like I said, her mom's really, really lovely, and so Wendy had called and told her upstairs and told her mom.
He got in my bag and he'd eaten 6 biscuits out of my bag. He stole it and then came down. He had it wedged in his mouth. And my mum, she came out and she's like, right, that's it. Look at this, boom, 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 down the stairs. Oh yeah, he got it all right. Like
that's
he was
good.
Sent to
Even dogs got to learn.
Yeah.
You don't just steal the biscuits.
What was it? She said something. Or said something about why can we don't have thievery in the house or something. Other. Oh, she was pissed. I'm like, wow.
Now you know where I get it from.
There it is.
And I'm on the phone with her, video chatting. I'm just sitting there. I'm being quiet. And you want to talk about nervous laughter when you don't know what to say? Because I did not know that her mom at 80-something could get that pissed off.
She's a pistol.
There you go.
And I'm sitting here just like this, looking at the phone.
What do they say? Look at the door, the mother. Look at the door, right?
There it is.
Yeah.
So,
Well, guys, we got to
so
cut
lovely
this
to see
short
you.
because it's Father's Day. Everybody's waiting for me up there, and we got a clean house because my older daughters are coming over tomorrow.
Have a fantastic time, my friend, and I will talk to
We
you.
will. And you get better. I love you, Wendy. You
Love
take
you
care of
too.
yourself. Get better. Let's try to look to shooting for Tuesday for Robertson. We'll see how you feel.
All right, darling.
And I could be naughty and say, I think you feel great. No, but let's
Don't
we'll
tell
see.
everybody.
No.
All right.
You have a good day. Get
I'll
rest.
see you later. Love.
Michael, good to see you, brother.
Sir.
Love you, brother.
Later,
Talk to you soon. Thanks for coming on.
Yes, sir.
And everybody else, I want to thank you for being here. Thanks for giving me your time. Remember, Intrepid Radio, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday over on my Patreon. Same time. Come on over there at 9 o'clock. You'll see the posts on my social media. And that's it. That's all we got. So we're out of here. Live long and prosper.
Are you looking for a really awesome and amazing graphic designer? How about an illustrator or a photographer? This is Raini Roberts, and I wanted to tell you how you can get my designer, illustrator husband, Scotty Roberts, to work for you on your project. Do you have an awesome self-published book but no cover, or even worse, a cover that really sucks? Do you need a kick-ass logo for your company or some f***ing awesome graphic designs for your ads or website? Then get in touch with my husband for the best f***ing awesome kick-ass design and illustration. He knows his stuff, and he's been at this for more years than I've been alive. Go to ScottAllenRoberts.com. That's Scott with 2 T's, ALANROBERTS.com to take a look at his online portfolio of work, or call 651-468 8115. Now go out and kick some ass with some kick-ass graphic design.
Hire my dad so he can take me to Disneyland.